Also, I would like to say that thank goodness for Congressman Roscoe Bartlett. I understand that he's still going to be active in EMP education and awareness. So my name is Clay Wilson. I'm the Program Director for Cybersecurity Policy at the University of Maryland University College. UMUC has recently stood up a cybersecurity program. We have three specialties: cybersecurity technology, cybersecurity policy, and a brand new one that we're developing now, cybersecurity forensics. We have, all of our courses are offered online. We just started 2 years ago, but now we have about 1,500 students enrolled. It's the graduate level. It's not undergrad. We are working to help fulfill the goals of Senator Mikulski and the President to help expand the cybersecurity workforce for the United States. What we are doing, what I'm trying to do as the Program Director, is to make sure that our students are aware of the emerging trends for cybersecurity. This presentation, this conference is a great example of the types of things that cybersecurity students need to know about. So the students that come to UMUC, we're adjusting our program, so when they leave, they will know about electromagnetic pulse. They'll be able to talk about it when they go back to their workplace. They'll be able to talk about it to their colleagues and explain some things about it. Here are the vulnerabilities, here are the threats that can attack us, and here are some of the solutions that we can think about putting in place and help clear away some of the myths. No, it doesn't cost a lot of money in every case to change things. But what's important is to raise awareness. The way we're doing it is through education. By raising awareness, the public can then contact the policymakers. The policymakers can then understand that these topics, these subjects are important to the public, and they can move these issues up to the front burner instead of having them on the back burner. A little bit about our program. We offer if a student enrolls in our program, they can take 6 online courses. There's 6 credit hours each, all online. So after about 36 credit hours, you have passed the qualifications requirements for a master's degree. In the program, we bring everybody together in a capstone at the very last, and we were going to present this at the NIST NICE conference. In our capstone, we have constructed a simulation where students are challenged. They all come together from technology and policy and digital forensics. And they're challenged to protect the critical infrastructure of the United States against a simulated cyber attack. So the simulation runs over a period of about 5 or 6 weeks. Each week is a different round. Students progress from round to round. They play different roles. They select cybersecurity controls, technical controls and policy controls to protect against the cyber attack. And they have to justify, rationalize why they have chosen the controls that they choose. They also have to work against a budget. They represent the different critical infrastructures, banking, telecommunications, defense contractor, utility, power company, and the federal government, 5 different infrastructures. And it's been in place now for about 2 semesters. We're going to start the 3rd semester in January. We're getting a lot of positive feedback from the students. They feel this is very, very interesting, it's challenging, and it represents the real world where policy and technology people come together and have to argue about what they need to put in place to protect their infrastructure against a cyber attack. My experience has been the technology people start groaning when the policy folks come in and tell them they can't do this and they can't do that because of these policy implications. But I think that's important, that everybody come together and discuss different priorities, make selections, reason with each other, and raise their awareness, help each other out. So we're adding something to our simulation. this summer, we will add a new feature that demonstrates the effects, cascade effects, where the selections and security plans that are put together by one critical infrastructure, depending on how strong or weak those plans are, can affect the plans of other critical infrastructure. And I think a real-life example of that showed up in the recent Sandy catastrophe that happened in New Jersey. When electricity went out, everybody had security plans in place, but all of a sudden there's no electricity, then there's no fuel, and everybody's plan just kind of goes to pieces. So we're going to try to include that. We have designed that into our simulation, and our students will experience that. So I'm very proud of that, really. Nice simulation. Let's see. I'm not sure what else I need to talk about. I'm not trying to sell the plan, but I think I'm not trying to sell our program. But I think it offers something that we need to help improve the cybersecurity workforce. And one other thing I think we ought to talk about. When I look in the newspaper, I see the job postings. Every job that you want now requires a security clearance. And so I think at some point we need to talk about how we can help students who are working toward cybersecurity education, gaining the knowledge, can also somehow get a boost up or help work on their security clearance so that when they come out, they're actually prepared to step into a job to help expand the workforce. That's our objective. So that's it for me. Thank you.
Great. So I know we're running a little late, but I have a question for the two of you. By the way, just an aside, all your students are welcome to join InfraGard, and they'll get their first step in the direction of having a security clearance by having that FBI clearance. But I can imagine a lot in the audience may not fully understand the opportunities you each see to actually dialogue with industry, because it could appear that DHS is broadcasting, we have these programs, and you just throw them out there to the public and hopefully they respond. You have programs at the university that say, come here, pay us money, and we'll give you credentials. But it seems like in what you're doing, and from what little I know about each of your work, on the university side, you actually have people who are already engaged in roles in industry and business, and that's why sometimes they're taking your courses. And you have an opportunity to actually hear from them. And I assume you have the same kind of interaction from industry, where you're not just doing one-way communications, you're actually doing some dialogue. I know in InfraGard, what we're trying to do by having an education committee at the national level is to make certain that we foster that dialogue with the private sector because of our private sector orientation. But I'd like for each of you to take a moment to give us an overview or a sign of how dialogue happens in the processes that you are leading.
Okay, great. Now, I love this question because really we have been in full partnership with industry and academia since we started. The fundamental purpose for NICE was to partner across the nation. This is a huge national problem. There aren't students pursuing STEM that lead to cybersecurity careers across the nation, and the demand for cybersecurity professionals is just escalating. Some of our certifiers claim that there is 0% unemployment in this career field, and yet, we see drop-offs all the time of people pursuing this. Why? Because they may not think that these jobs are available. There was one big thought process at the .com bust that all of these types of jobs were being outsourced. You heard the professor say that everyone needs a security clearance. In this area, that's very, very prominent. In California, not so much. But we still need a lot of American citizens. And if you look at the educational statistics, from 2001, those students opting for a science, technology, engineering, or math degree dropped 50%. I saw a slight rise in 2010, and that was foreign students. We want to educate the American public that this is really well-paying jobs, cool jobs, and jobs that will pay well. And this requires that we work with industry. When I talked about the framework, while we began this, within the government, looking cross all the different career fields that would fall under here. We then went into focus groups with industry and academia to define these roles, to make sure that they were applicable across the nation. So everything that we have done, even with the Next portal, we have been talking with industry, saying, does this meet your needs? We're taking in industry information. When we talk about the scholarship page, we don't want just those scholarships provided by the government. We want Microsoft to come in and link their scholarship programs. Northrop Grumman, name the company. We want it all there because we want to stimulate the growth within the nation of these professionals.
At UMUC, we're working with industry to see what we can do to try to incorporate the clearance with our education process. We're doing that right now. University of Maryland at College Park actually has something in place with Northrop Grumman. So students are designated as interns, and while they're studying, they're interns being cleared at the end of their education. They can get their job and have a clearance. We're also talking about incorporating new ideas for education. Some of you may have heard something about this new approach to education called MOOCs. MOOC, Massive Online Something Courses. I don't know exactly what it means, what the acronym stands for, but it's a way of using the online environment to educate students in ways that are more challenging, interesting, and engaging, rather than having them sit in front of a professor and listen to a 2-hour lecture. Young people grow up with a different orientation to technology. Education has to adjust to that. And that's what one of the things we're going to investigate. Also, we're in the graduate program, and so some of our students are CISOs. And we get feedback from the CISOs as we're doing instruction. We include that feedback as we modify our courses. So we're trying to dynamically grow and improve the effectiveness and relevance of the programs of the courses that we offer in our cybersecurity program.
Thank you very much. I'd like a round of applause for our guests.